Okay.
We're there. We're everywhere. All right. Let me see if I can do something out here.
Hello, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead.
I am in the process of doing something, guys. Hang on.
He's always doing something. He's always busy.
I'm always busy moving things around on the screen, trying to make this happen because my eyes is getting bad. I've been looking all day at stuff, and I don't even want to see nothing else. Just little. I'm looking for something that's big. There we go.
I'm not putting a smoothie together, Christina. I'm drinking hot chocolate. Got a little chilled earlier and thought, Danny was wanting a little hot chocolate, so
hello there, Country Homestead preacher.
Danny's grabbing almonds. Well, actually, I had
walnuts a while ago, and we tried to keep them. They got old, even though they were in the freezer. They still got old and got a little rancid taste. So we're not going to be able to keep them. We were talking about sometimes. Is it really worth saving stuff for long periods of time? I mean, you
have to rotate, guys, because I bought these walnuts about a year ago on sale. Got them like a quarter a pack, where they're regular a pack or whatever, and I threw them over in the freezer. Well, then I forget about them, and then like today I took some out, and they have a rancid taste. So nuts is one of those things that
even though they've been in the freezer, it's still
that. And it too, they were probably old when they were picked.
I think that's probably it. When we got them, they were already on a reduced price sale.
Yeah, but I mean when they were picked and processed, because they do a huge amount. Yeah. And so once they hit the store, it could be that way. Hello, everybody. I'm not going to try and call names because
I'll never go through all these names. I miss them all. My eyes are so wore out from looking today.
Y'all, we've been busy with the syrup for a week now.
A week.
We started last Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And we finished up a couple of days ago, and we've been busy with our new project, and y'all will see the new project Monday.
Yeah. Is that when it's coming out, Monday?
Yes.
Well, the patrons have already seen it.
Patrons already see it. Y'all don't give it away.
Don't give it away if you're a patron.
Our patrons already have seen. Well, I hadn't put nothing up today for them, but I will. I'll see if I can throw something for patrons in a few minutes when we get through. But if I don't, I'll catch up with patrons tomorrow.
No, we did not. Well, I don't know. We didn't vacuum pack them before we froze them, did we?
No.
No, I don't think we did.
No, I just threw them over in there from the grocery store.
There's Miss Lippy.
They were in a.
They were already sealed up in a plastic bag. We just didn't suck the oxygen out of them.
It was, and they were already clipped.
Oh, thank you, Julie.
Hello from cold Idaho. Oh my goodness.
Oh my word. We know a couple of Julies from Idaho.
Yes. A year ago, this time, Dirt Patch Heaven was headed this way. Her name is Julie, and she's from Idaho. And her family spent Christmas with us.
Not last year.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I think it was right at 3 years.
3 years ago. Gosh, time flies.
And we had a ball. And I'm going to bring back.
We did have a ball. Remember, we wrote our own Christmas story with them. And we do have a video on that, guys.
Well, I have it unlisted right now because it had kids in it. And when they started the kid things, I pulled a bunch of them. So I'm bringing it back.
We have the Christmas thing.
I'm going to put up for Christmas this year, Dirt Patch Heaven's kids and Danny doing the Christmas story.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Danny and I had a lot of fun writing it, plus...
Well, Ms. Lippy, the package didn't come today either. I thought it was going to because they dropped off a bunch of packages, but it wasn't there.
Oh, let me show, before we get started with a whole bunch of cane questions, I got a list of cane questions.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Wanda's got a bunch of stuff here.
Felicia Corona sent, and these, it's got a glare on it.
That's good. All right,
it's a J, but it's a whole bunch of cards and the ties to hang it. It says "Joy to the World," and it's going to be a banner when I hang it up. And I'm using that at the cabin. If I ever get through with the project, I can go to the cabin and work on my.
You won't stay off the computer long enough. That's upside down.
Okay, that's the wrong way.
That's the wrong way.
Merry Christmas. All right, this is from Felicia. There's two of them. It's like
no, that's the same picture we used to have behind us here.
Sheila gave us that. I got a video for Christmas too. These are for pillows. You put it's made out of croaker, like croaker sacks and burlap, whatever.
You called it croaker.
Well, I call it croaker sack.
Well, the croaker sack is made out of burlap, but that's a different type of burlap.
This is a thin weave.
Yeah.
I mean, a thick.
It's a tight weave.
Tight weave, yeah.
Somebody said they're going to jump right in while they're going and says, where can I get a sugarcane press? Well, Michael, Michelle, is that Michael or Michelle? That's Michelle.
No, it's Michael.
Is that Michael? Okay.
Yeah,
my eyes are so tired. Well, they make an electric stainless steel one if you want to shuck out the money. It's pretty expensive. But the best way is to go to the old-fashioned auctions, or if your state has a market bulletin like the Mississippi Market Bulletin, that's where I found mine. And sometimes you can find them at good deals. Sometimes you can find them at salvage yards. We have a scrap metal place here, and lots of times they show up at scrap metal places.
Yeah. Christina is saying she liked the gingerbread thing. We did a gingerbread thing, and we talked about this last year, and I showed the picture of Danny's gingerbread house. Y'all, if you don't challenge Danny, just saying, don't challenge Danny.
Yeah, that's
that's the wrong thing to do.
That's right.
You can ask him to participate in a collab and things like that, but don't challenge. Because he goes all out.
I go berserk.
When they started this collab that year, they challenged all the homesteaders to do a gingerbread house. Danny went all out, and instead of a gingerbread house, he did gingerbread Deep South Homestead.
I did the whole farm.
The whole farm, including Dirt Patch Heaven's RV
even
sitting in
RV.
the yard.
I even went to Walmart and bought a miniature RV and put it in there with it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then John and Julie, when we did a live stream, dropped it. We had done pictures and everything,
Yeah.
but Danny spent 2 solid days locked up in our bedroom.
Locked up in the bedroom, yeah.
Doing that thing, so y'all don't challenge him. We got too much to do.
That's it.
Okay, so let's talk about Kane a little bit. One of the most comments we got, and questions too, comments and questions was, how many times did Wanda get hit in the head? And
the world we live in today, I guess everybody's thinking somebody's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? Everybody's conscious about having something happen to them, you know? You don't have to get hit but once. And you learn you've never been hit because it won't hit you. You're not tall enough. It's above your head. It's just a thing that people just always duck. Now, we have had people here who got hit in the head every time it went around. But
I duck because the way my glasses are, if I see anything above my head, Danny gets mad at me because we have trees that they're above my head. And I make him cut the limbs, even though they're this far above my head, because my eyes see it like right here. So when I'm seeing that cane pole coming around, I'm ducking every time. And because the way the camera's sitting, it looks like it's going just barely missing my head. But actually, it was way above.
It's actually way above her head. Somebody's asking, how far north can the sugarcane grow? Probably, Amy, I wouldn't go any higher than zone 7. If you go any higher than that, you need to go to sorghum.
Explain the sorghum, sugar beets, molasses. Not molasses. Sugar cane and maybe where they could grow that. That's one of the questions.
Sugar beets grows extremely way north, like zones 4 and 5 up that way. Sorghum can be grown in zones around 6 and 7, and then sugarcane really needs to be 7, 8, 9, 10 on down this way where it stays warmer at. So you don't have to worry about losing it to hard freezes. I mean,
but it can be grown in containers.
It can be grown in containers in greenhouses. We have people growing it in Illinois in greenhouses. I mean, it can be done. You can do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the cane meal is you get a rhythm going, and you keep your eyes out if you watch when Danny come around, because usually I'm the one driving.
Yeah.
I usually do the lawnmower. But last year we did the tractor, and this year we did the Ranger. And I'm not as comfortable with them because they're bigger. You know, I think I might have did the tractor though.
I drove the tractor last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd rather feed than drive if
Yeah, you freeze to death when you're driving. It's so freaking cold.
Yeah, you get cold. And the cane this year was really hard because of the crook. It wasn't straight, and you couldn't just feed it in. You had to stand with it at an angle and push it in, and it didn't want to go in as well, and it was a lot more difficult this year.
Yeah. They're saying we need an ox or a mule to walk in a circle. We would be there all day long if we used a mule or an ox.
And that was one of the questions. Why did you not use a mule?
Well, one thing, I got to feed a mule all year long.
Just for 2 or 3 days.
Just for a few days purpose, and maybe plowing with him occasionally. And then I got to have a place to house him. I got to buy hay for him. I got to buy feed and all that kind of stuff.
It's not worth it.
It's just not worth it, you know. And it is. Plus, it takes forever to grind anything using a mule because I've done it before.
Yeah, and we have friends that do that. But most people use a motor.
Yeah.
Do it nowadays. Most all of your places use motors.
Yeah, I mean, mine, if I could ever get the piece to go on my post hole auger to go on the back of my tractor, I would take the cane mill off of those tall poles and mount it down lower to the ground and use my post hole auger to sit there and turn it where we don't have to drive around a circle. I can just lock the PTO in on the tractor and sit there and just feed the cane in. But I just haven't got that ambitious yet.
Okay, I'm going to just take your questions as I wrote them down, and they're going to go all over the place. How do you clean the meal?
Well, that's not really a big issue because the bees will come as soon as it warms up, and they'll clean any sugar that's left in that meal off of it. And then the only thing that's left in there is a little few pieces of cane squeezins or something like that.
Pieces of fodder.
Piece of fodder and things like that will drop down in there, and you can take water and throw up in there, and it'll wash it right out and wash it just as clean as it can be. And a lot of people worry about lead getting into whatever you're eating. And guys, the way the cane meal is made, up under the spools, there's reservoirs that sit up underneath those spools that you fill up with oil. And if there was to be any pieces of lead or anything that got in it, which I've never seen any in it as long as I've been doing it, but it would be caught in them oil reservoirs, and then when you take it and you clean the oil reservoirs out, you would get the lead out of it. So I mean, I've never seen any lead flakes in it as long as I've been using this meal for, gosh, 40 years almost. And I've never seen lead get in anything. I mean, so plus we filter everything, and if there was any lead particles in it, it would get caught in the filter. So. And
along that line, the cane mill itself, if somebody buys cane or raises their own cane, and they don't have a mill, one thing is, how would they process it to make sugar? And I mean, Zach at American Homestead has that mill.
Yeah, Zach has one of the new nice mills. They make a stainless steel electric one that's really nice. I mean, Zach's got a cream of the crop mill.
And that is an American Homestead.
That's Zach at an American Homestead.
But
that is probably, if you're going to be willing to spend the money, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice. I mean, really nice. Zach's got a nice setup there. But if you're just doing a few stalks, you would need to peel it, to be really honest. You'd need to peel all the wax off the surface of it and the pieces off of it, and you can boil the pieces that you cut up.
And cut it in smaller pieces.
And you can boil it and get the sugar out of it and the syrup that way, which is a lot longer process.
Yeah. Any way you go, it's a long process.
It's a long process, but the way we do it, or using a mill like Zach's got, is the best way to go.
And then people ask about using a ringer washer.
No, a ringer washer would break the washer. The cane's too hard for that.
Yes, it's extremely hard.
As a matter of fact, as long as that pole is behind that Ranger, if I put 2 stalks in it and you're a human being, you can't push that pole around as long as it's sticking out there and you got that much leverage. You don't have enough strength to push that mill hardly. Which you can do it with 1 stalk, but if I put 2 stalks in it, you couldn't hardly push it.
Newton says he wants to see Wanda raise cane about something. Well, I started to call it raising cane.
She almost named that video that.
I can raise cane. I can get hanky. I don't holler or scream or anything like that.
She's not capable of hollering. I don't think she can do
He
it.
says I can't
I don't
holler.
think she could holler if she had to.
And I'm not used to talking very loud. And I see a lot of them say they can't hear me. I'm not used to that. And I don't yell and scream. So, but I can get aggravated.
You get aggravated. Allison asked, does the cane grow back on its own every year, or do you have to replant it? It will grow back on its own. It does that every year, but usually after the third year, we replant it because it just seems to, it's cane. It just gets to spreading out, and then it doesn't do very well after about 3 years. So it's best to replant every 3 years.
Okay, and then that, do you cover the cane, like when we just cut it down, do you go through and throw dirt and mulch and stuff on it to cover it for the winter?
Yes, we go back and I have what's called a disc killer. We go back and we throw the dirt and bed it back up on top of it, and that protects it throughout the winter. And you can even pile the fodder back up on top of it if you want to, and in the spring you can burn it off and then fertilize it and bed it up again and go. Abama Gardner said, I love your homemade skimmer. Dang, Danny, even your holes were precisely even.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah, I mean, whatsoever, the Bible says, whatsoever thy hands find it to do, do it as unto the Lord. And I figure if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it like I'm doing it unto the Lord, and it's got to be perfect.
All right, if you plant cane, for people that have never planted it before, they plant it this time of the year, October, November, first of December. But if it starts growing, and it will, because ours is growing right now, you got to chop it off before the first freeze. If you know it's going to freeze, chop it off, right?
Yes.
And keep your eye on it all winter.
Yes.
And I don't have a microphone, and it's this camera microphone. I don't know what the...
She's sitting closer to it than I am. It's just, I tell you, her voice, she just doesn't have a voice that carries.
No, I don't. Switch seats with Danny. I don't know if that would make sense. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Will we be selling Searle? No.
Not this year. We didn't make enough this year.
We sold the stalks.
Yeah.
And that way, because we have projects going on and we didn't have time to sit and cook syrup for a week and a half at a time. Usually 7 or 8 days we cook straight. We didn't do that this year. 3 times in your last video, you mentioned that would cause the syrup to turn into sugar. How is it turned into sugar on purpose?
It's done through, like you see me when I was taking when you watch the video, I was taking that little pan, holding it up in the air, and I was letting the sugar, the syrup fall off of it, and you was watching it sheet. Well, in a real sugar factory, the syrup is ran off of a conveyor system like that, and as it falls through the air, cold air is shot through it, and the cold air hitting that hot syrup crystallizes it. So that it's basically just an infraction of cold air into it.
All right. Lippy said I need her voice. It would carry. Yes, probably. So the process is similar to cooking down maple syrup. That was another question.
Yes, it's almost identical to cooking down maple syrup. Just maple syrup takes a lot more juice than cane does.
Okay, explain the ratio now, because he did explain the ratio in...
I explained the ratio in almost every video.
But still, we had somebody asked the ratio for it.
Hi, guys. Got to get ready. Mom ready for bed. Okay.
Hey, Missy.
That's Mimsy?
Mimsy.
Yeah, it's good to see. I'm glad they're all doing better. It depends on where you live. It depends on how much you fertilize the cane. It depends on how much it rains. It depends on a lot of stuff.
And it rained a lot a week before ours was harvested.
Yeah, so this is the deal we've learned here at Deep South Homestead. That may not be the same everywhere, but it works here. You get 10 stalks of our sugar cane usually makes a gallon of juice. 10 gallons of juice usually makes a gallon of syrup. This year, 10 gallons of juice made about a gallon and a half or a little bit more of syrup. So we had a long drought here at Deep South Homestead this year and didn't get any rain until right before we harvested the sugar cane, which made our sugar cane a lot sweeter than what it normally would have been. So the sugar content in ours was a lot higher this year. So we ended up with more syrup than we normally do.
Okay, so somebody wants to know what is the main use for our cane syrup. We like it as syrup.
I like it just as syrup.
Poured over whatever, but he likes it over his biscuits. I like it over biscuits. I like it over toast. I add it to things. That was another question.
You can cook with it.
People ask, can you cook with the cane syrup? Yes.
Just like you do regular sugar or honey.
It just has a touch of a different flavor than just like if you put regular granulated sugar, you don't have a taste in there except sweet. Cane syrup has a touch of a different taste because I can put it in coffee and it changes the flavor of my coffee, and it takes me a while to get used to it. So that is something that I will use off and on is cane syrup in my coffee. So you can use it that way, but it's great in cakes, cookies, pies. People make pecan pies with it. I mean,
yeah,
you can do whatever.
Lance says he's having problems with the chickens eating their eggs. Any advice? Usually when chickens start eating eggs, they're needing calcium or they're bored, or sometimes you just have egg eaters and you have to dispose of them because once they get started at it, usually you cannot stop them.
All right, they want to know, can you add flavors to the syrup, like fruit flavors?
Yes, you can do that. While the syrup is still hot, you'll have to have the flavors already there. A lot of people use artificial flavors. We don't like that. But if you had your actual real flavors, then you could add it to it if you want to change the flavor of it while it's still hot and before you can it.
Can you feed the milled cane to the cows or will they not eat it?
The cows won't eat it, but pigs will love it. Now, cows will sit and chew on it, but the pigs will literally consume it.
All right, let me go back to my questions. Will the cows eat the cane down, like when we put them in the field where we got it?
If the new cane pops up, they will eat it down. Now, once it gets some size to it, they're not so bad about eating it because the edges of the leaves are very serrated. Deer don't usually fool with it or anything like that. And cows are not bad about it. Now, the cows will walk over it and rub on it and everything and tear it down, but they don't usually eat it.
And we're going to leave what's there this year and just see how it does with the cows and the grass and everything up then the well, because we planted some more somewhere else.
Yeah, we planted a whole new patch.
But if they don't and it grows and it does like it should, then we'll have extra cane next year.
Yeah, I don't imagine it's going to make it. The cows will probably clean it up.
They probably will, but we're going to try it.
Yeah, I just don't have time to deal with it right now.
What was the purpose of putting the cane fodder in the pond or by the pond?
There at the pond, our pond is down in the bottom of a holler. We have steep hills all around it. Even at the greenhouse, it's all steep hills. And we had a place that the water came down through there after the hurricane and created a wash in the edge of the pond. And rather than me trying to pile more dirt in there, the cane fodder is excellent for stopping erosion problems and stuff like that. So I just kind of piled it in that ravine where it washed out right there. And as time goes on, the dirt will wash and fill back in over that, and it'll make a good barrier there.
Okay. So I titled this, "Is it really worth it?" It's very labor intensive the last few days. As Danny mentioned in one of the videos, planting it and stuff and the just growing it is not very labor intensive. It doesn't take hardly anything. But making syrup from start to finish, topping it, cutting it down, taking the, what do you call it? No, topping it and stripping it, cutting it down, making the syrup is very labor intensive. It's not hard work. It just means you got to stay with it.
Christina says, how long does cane syrup store for? It's just like honey. It will last forever. It may get a little stronger, just like honey does, but it'll turn to pure rock hard sugar.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is just put it in boiling water and heat it back up in a container, and it's still good.
Yeah. So what do you think? Is the labor worth it?
Oh, yeah, the labor is definitely worth it. I mean, The problem with
Flavors
the
also.
problem with our society today is everybody's looking for some way easy to do something. Nobody wants to work anymore. That's the whole problem. And everybody's trying to say, well, I want an easy, fast way to do it because we're used to a microwave society. We're used to instant gratification.
Mrs. Butterworth.
And
Aunt Jemima.
and they're wanting that. Now we don't eat Miss Butterworths and Aunt Jemimas and all this other stuff, these pancake syrups and stuff like that, because they use genetically modified corn syrup to make them with. And for us, we don't want the genetic modified high fructose corn syrup in our bodies. We don't use it. We don't want it. Now we have a bottle or two of it in here if somebody wants it, but for us, we just use the plain cane syrup because it's nature's bounty for us. There's no chemicals in it, and I think that I think it's the best way to go. All this artificial flavors like butter flavor and all that they put in pancake syrup and stuff like that. That's what's wrong with our health today. Is too many people are eating that kind of junk. How far will it not grow? What temps think? So, well, we already talked about that earlier. I said zone 7. I wouldn't go any higher in zone 7 and 7A. I probably would even consider sorghum if I went that high.
And what do you fertilize it with and when?
I fertilize mine with triple 13 and cottonseed meal early in the spring and lay it by, and that's all you got to do. You don't just keep the weeds out of it. It takes care of itself.
Allison says she found a 40-year-old jar of honey in her basement today. Wow.
I would think that you need to check your basement more often if it was 40 years old.
I rotate, but yeah, that's just amazing. Well, I bet if we went and checked your mom's cellar, there's no telling what's in there that's probably 20 years old.
At least 20 in hers, yeah. No cane in Minnesota, but maple syrup takes 40 gallons of sap to make a gallon of maple syrup. I knew that maple syrup takes a lot.
Yeah. Let me see. What is another question?
That stuff isn't even sugar anymore, Danny. It's just high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
It's corn nonsense. Yeah, I agree. It's just, it ain't even really syrup. They just take corn syrup and they flavor it.
Yeah, that's all they're doing. Let's see. Somebody said how many miles to a gallon, according to
It really is not that much because it goes faster than you think with the squeezing of it. I think we squeezed out 10 gallons in just less than an hour, about an hour.
Not quite an hour.
Not quite an hour. Yeah, we could have done it faster, but we just wasn't in that big of a hurry. Are you going to sell chewing cane on Etsy? We've already sold, Patricia. We done sold all of our chewing cane on Etsy. We had it on there. And when we put it up, you got to be there and be ready to get it because it goes within, what, an hour?
Yeah, it was gone within an hour.
Yeah.
Gemini says she just tasted her first maple syrup. It's good, but not cane. Yeah, I like the taste of maple syrup.
I like maple syrup. When I was up north, I eat a good bit of maple syrup, and I enjoy. Let me say this. I like real maple syrup. Now the stuff you go and buy in the grocery store, that's not real. If you look on the back of the bottle, it will normally say 5% because they've had so many additives put in it. Now you can buy what's called organic pure maple syrup that's pretty close to the real thing, but it's still not anything like if you just home boil it yourself.
Yeah. And I've had several subscribers send me maple syrup that they made, and I've had them send hickory syrup.
Well, we've ate hickory syrup. Now, that's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's a little bit strong, but it's good.
I was trying to think something else. It seems like there's a different one. But anyway, some of my subscribers have sent different things that they've done, and it is amazing to know the different tastes.
Yeah.
People were asking, what does it taste like? Does it taste like maple? No.
No, it doesn't taste anything like maple.
If you've ever bought molasses in a store, you will come closer to finding
molasses is a lot richer and a lot stronger than cane syrup.
Yeah.
Now molasses is cane syrup, but it's a whole different. It's a lot longer. It's a lot longer cooking process. You actually have to cook it 2 to 3 different times to make molasses.
And that's where that thickness comes in. The more you cook it, the thicker it gets. If we open some of our older jars of cane syrup, pour it back in a pot and cook it again, and maybe wait a day and cook it another day, would we have molasses about 3 times?
After you cook it down about 3 times, and then actually they're removing stuff from it too. So I mean,
it's a process.
Yeah. Now, pure molasses has many minerals in it that the body can actually use. And another person said it's hard to find real sourwood honey too. That's true. There used to be a lot of sourwood honey down where I live at here, but there's been so much logging that's went on over the years. So all the sourwood has gotten tore down and it just doesn't come back like it used to.
Okay, so why was ours not so thick?
It's the way you cook it. I don't like thick syrup. I don't like syrup that when you stand a spoon up in it, it just stands there, or when you drag a biscuit through it, the biscuit stays in the plate. I like what's called pancake syrup. That's not really thin, but it's not really thick. It's in between it. That's where, when I'm looking at my syrup sheeting off of the little cup thing I have, I've learned that a certain way that it sheets tells me that it's at the right consistency that I like as an individual. I don't care for the old-timey, real heavy, thick, black, dark syrup. I just don't like it. I like the variety we have. It's more of a light-colored pancake type syrup.
Yeah, that's what I like too. I was raised on the thick stuff, and they always came in these tin cans with a tin lid on it.
Yeah.
And you could bet your bottom dollar there was sugar in the bottom of it every time.
Yeah,
it took a while to.
Well, that's why we add citric acid to ours.
Yeah.
Now, our first batch, we didn't add any citric acid to it because we do like just some to have to possibly turn to sugar. Because when it turns to sugar, it's actually it's called sucanat.
Yeah.
Is what it's actually called. It's a natural sugar that's very expensive if you buy it in a store, because it's real sugar and it's very good for you. That sugar's really good for you.
What was blackstrap molasses made from? What is it made from?
Just made from cane.
It just takes it. Why do they call it blackstrap?
It's what's left over after they've made all the other syrup and sugars and all that kind of stuff. It's the impurities that's left over. They feed it to cows and stuff like that.
All right. Somebody wanted to know: do we have any problems with ants?
Yes, we have problems with what's called fire ants. Now, you have to understand there's difference in ants. We have what's called the imported fire ant. These things are like they're from hell. They'll eat into the sugar cane. They get all up in the fodder. They'll get all over you. They'll bite you. They'll whip you all up, make bumps all over you, and some people's even allergic to them. And they get all in the sugar cane patch. You just have to be conscious of it while you're cutting sugar cane down and messing with it.
Candace wants to know: do you can the syrup? Oh, no.
No, you just when you take it out of that cooker, that syrup is screaming hot. If you get it on you, it will burn you and you can't get it off. You have to pour it up and have your jars in the oven sitting there warming at about 200 degrees. And you pour the hot cane syrup into the jar, clean the rim off just like you would if you're canning anything else. Put the lid on it and set it over to the side, and it will seal on its own.
Okay. Let's see what else I got.
Brandon says, what's the shelf life of cane syrup? Just open a jar from a few years back and it still tastes good. Brandon, cane syrup's like honey. It'll last forever. It may turn to sugar, but it just lasts forever.
Mr. John said he fought the cows for the blackstrap as a kid.
I mean, yeah, I've actually, this is funny. Years ago, we had family members that actually, I looked out in the field and the kids was actually licking on the blackstrap molasses thing on one side and the cows was on the other. And boys, it was a mess.
Let's see there. Oh, describe the difference between chewing and syrup cane.
Okay, the difference between chewing cane and syrup cane is chewing cane usually makes a very large stalk, and it's got a lot higher sugar content than the syrup making one does. Now you can still make syrup out of chewing cane. The chewing cane stalks are usually real soft, and it's easy for somebody to chew them once you peel them. The syrup making one, it doesn't matter if you peel it or not. It's usually very hard, and it doesn't. You'd have to really squeeze down on it hard to chew it. But the chewing cane, you can make syrup out of it. It's just that the syrup will be a lot stronger and it'll be a lot darker.
Okay, somebody wanted to know, do we use all the cane we make from year to year? Now, usually no. We usually make like 7 days we cook.
Yeah.
So we end up with what, 98 jars one year.
Yeah, we did 98 pints one year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
The year before it was like 70 or 80. Now I give away some to my children and my mom and different people for Christmas. And that's one of my Christmas gifts usually. Last year we only made 5 little pints, I think, because of the drought.
The drought.
The cane was horrible.
It was horrible.
So we sold most of it. And this year we made enough. It should last us a year. But from 2 years ago, I still have 20-something pints left from 2 years ago. So no, we don't use all of it from year to year if we make a lot of it. This year, yes, with what we made, we'll probably run out. But I have the 20-something extra pints left from 2 years ago.
Trevor says, is there other ways to squeeze cane? Trevor, there's different machines out there to squeeze sugar cane with. They're just expensive. I mean, it's just not, you just about got to have a cane mill to do it and do it efficiently. If you can find one, a lot of times you can pick them up on eBay or through the market bulletin or something like that.
Okay, I think through most of our questions.
Did you put pictures up or anything? Or?
The only picture I have is the cane syrup, the jars.
Okay.
You want to show that right quick?
Yeah, let's pull that up over there. This is the finished product of the cane syrup when I got through. You notice, if you look at the jars in the back there where the light's actually shining through them, you can see it's almost like honey. It has about the same consistency as honey. So it's really good. It's really good, and it looks nice.
What varieties of sugar cane? There's many, aren't there?
There's probably 100 different varieties of sugar cane, and every year the experimental stations are creating new varieties. Some I don't agree with. Some are genetically modified, so we try to stay away from that. Mine is a very old variety I got from an old gentleman who got it from his dad. I don't even know what they call it. I just know that it's good syrup making cane. Now I used to, years ago when I lived on my other farm, I had what was called P52, I believe is what it was. I got it from the experimental station, and I just left it on the property when I moved.
Okay. Somebody's asking, has anybody tried buckwheat honey? I've never even heard of it. So.
No, I've never tried any buckwheat honey. And the thing about this is it. You can make with honey or syrup and stuff like that. You can make it out of a lot of different things. It's kind of like jelly. I mean, you can make pepper jelly. You can make corncob jelly, apple jelly. I mean, syrup is just about the same way. You can make lots of different kinds of syrup out of just about anything.
And some of our subscribers that visited us a couple of weeks ago brought us some honey, and one jar of the honey was blueberry honey.
Yes.
Because the bees were right there at the blueberry patch the whole time, and it does have a touch of a different taste. I mean, hey, Grow Family. Grow Family did some cane. They were doing cane.
Yeah, I've seen they were doing cane. Yeah.
Everybody's doing cane this week.
Well, it's the time of the year to do it.
Yeah. But the honey and you can take, I like clover honey. That's one of my favorites is clover.
Clover honey, red clover honey.
Yeah.
Is some of the best honey that you'll probably ever come across. It's almost clear. It's so good.
Yes. I don't like a strong honey. So I like the clover honeys because it is light, but you can do syrups the same way.
Yeah.
One thing we wanted to talk about, I have pictures.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Cul-de-sac says, I was wondering, does it have a smoke flavor to it? No, it has no smoke flavor to it. What?
Do you think you will do pigs again?
I probably will in the future. We're still eating on the two that we done last year, over a year ago, and we're almost through them. We just had those two large ones that we did, and we don't eat lots of pork all the time, but every so often we just get the urge for a pork roast or a pork loin or pork ribs or something like that, and we'll take some out of the freezer, pork chops or something.
Yeah.
And the thing about this is the variety of pigs that we had, and I showed Wanda this. People always talk about how lard is bad for you. And I told Wanda, I said, watch this here. I put my hands in that lard and I sit there and squished them all around in the lard and had my hands white with lard. And I took the water in the sink and turned it on hot and put my hands under it. And the lard came right off my hands, and my hands were not greasy or anything like that. This thing about lard that makes your hands all greasy and stuff like that, you've got the wrong variety of pigs and they've been fed the wrong thing.
Yes, because we were totally amazed, or I was, when I washed my hands after making sausage patties.
You don't have to have soap to clean them.
Yeah, I've always, when I make sausage patties, you know that white gook that gets all over your hands and then you can't rub it off. I mean, you can put soap on it and you sit there. It don't happen with ours. It was awesome. And we really should have, I guess, kept one of the pigs, but we had so much we needed to do this year that it just wasn't feasible, and we needed the meat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's all about what you feed that pig. Ours were grass fed. They never got the hog feed that you buy at the store. We didn't buy all that hog feed and all that and feed them or anything like that.
Fed them some corn and
a little bit of corn along.
Sugar cane.
I fed them a lot of sugar cane.
Corn, stalks.
Yeah, the stalks off the corn, clover out of the fields. They graze normally. They eat grass most of the time.
Pea vines.
Anything like that.
They were very sweet hogs.
Yeah. There's a couple of different varieties. The mule foot hog is a real good hog. There's one that's called an Idaho pig. Those are real nice pigs. The coons are really good pigs. Those are calm breeds like that you really want for. They're your natural breeds that. And then the old black wattle hogs and stuff like that. Those are the pigs that you want. You don't want these old Poland Chinas or Berkshires and all that kind of stuff that's been bred up. You don't.
My thought process just went out the window. Lard. Yes, cakes made with lard are awesome, and we use lard every day.
Let's say this. It depends on what part of the lard. Now, not all fat on a pig is good for making lard.
For a cake.
For a cake or anything like that. Yeah. Really, back fat is not made for making lard out of. If you want to make lard, you need the fat from inside around the kidneys, around the intestines and stuff like that. That's the fat that you want to render down for making into lard. The fat that's on the back and all that kind of stuff, the fat back, that is basically used for like frying stuff in and things, because it will take I call it a piggy taste, a lard taste to it. So you have to be kind of President with Disability says heritage pigs are what you're meaning. And yes, heritage pigs are what we're talking about. Okay. Yes, Sandy's got that right. Refined sugar is actually worse than lard. Lard is actually good. People have this thing that fat is not good for your body. Fat is one of the best things in the world. This thing about cholesterol that's come up, that's all about selling statin drugs. Lard has true lard is actually very healthy for you. It's not bad for you. Susie Q says, are y'all milking any of our cows right now? No, we have calves on our cows. We're not milking anything right now.
We got too many projects.
We got too much to do to milk a cow.
I can't even get my Christmas stuff done so I can do a video. I've got the tree up. Looks awesome. And I've hung all my ornaments from all of you guys that sent ornaments last year on the tree. And I ran to town the other day and took him into Wally World, even though he didn't really want to go.
Never want to go to Wally World.
And I picked up a lot of different decorations for the cabin because I didn't have anything really to decorate with that much. And then I ran back into the dollar store a couple of days ago and picked up some extra stuff. And it's all sitting in the floor in the cabin because we have a project going on.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy goes, oh, come on now. The USDA says it's okay. Yeah, right. This stuff that you go, and I know she's just being sarcastic. But this stuff that you go to the grocery store and buy in a tub that says lard on it, don't buy that. Please don't buy that.
That ain't lard.
That ain't lard. If you look on the ingredients in it, it's got like 35 different things in it that don't even come close to being lard. It's all chemicals.
Lard is simply what you take off of a pig or a cow.
Or a cow. Well, a cow's called tallow.
Yeah. But I mean, lard comes off a pig.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be anything but pig in it.
There shouldn't be nothing there, but that's just all you have there. And it doesn't go bad. We have some canned now. It's been canned over a year, and we're still using it perfectly fine.
And I have leaf lard that we can separately and in little bitty things to cook with. And maybe I'll take one out and do a video, make it a cake eventually. It's just that right now, making videos is extremely difficult. So I'm having to do what we can do. And it's tough on me because I'm having to catch everything up.
Yeah.
That comes to the dehydrator. I did a video on the dehydrator and put it up yesterday. Maybe, I don't remember when I put it up. Anyway, I said I would tell who won. And so I'm going to tell tonight who won. And if I don't have she doesn't contact me by Monday night, I'll give her till Monday night. And I'm going to put it in the community tab so she'll see that. And I'm going to put it in our Facebook group on Deep South Homestead gathering place. And also that hopefully my winner will see. And if she doesn't contact me by Monday night, we will draw again another name and we will contact that person. Well,
before you tell who it is, let's show them all our winners from our last one.
Oh, you want to do that? That was the
$150,000 winner giveaway.
They should have got it today, or they'll get it Monday.
They should. I mean, and they may even be on here tonight. I don't know. Keith might be on here tonight. Seems like in the beginning I did see him on here. But we're going to show you. This is the winners of. This is Keith and Jamie. These were the winners of the 150,000 subscriber giveaway, and we chose them. We went through and looked at everybody,
and I chose the comment for this because on 150,000, we wanted to be special. We wanted to be somebody that we had. Our thoughts were somebody that's been with us for a long time that comments a lot. So we looked at all the comments that we knew people had been commenting a lot. And 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, you and Keith had a few phone conversations.
Yeah.
And we didn't choose him for that. We chose him because he is trying. He is super.
Keith also has a ministry.
Yes.
And in the video, Keith asked me several times, can he use my videos in his ministries? And I've always said yes. And to me, someone who's actually carrying on the ministry even further, I think that I think that's very hospitable and very notable of a person.
And you have to know Keith's story. Keith was a truck driver. He drove over the road for many years, and then he got a brain infection.
Yeah.
Which almost paralyzed him.
Yeah, Keith says he's here.
Okay, good. And I don't know his story all, but he sent us that we could use it. And what happened was he was in the hospital and they gave him a computer to look at and gave him YouTube.
Yeah.
And Danny's video popped up and they wanted him to watch a video and tell the nurse the next day later that day what he watched. And he couldn't remember. So he would go back over and over and over and watch Danny's videos, and so he could remember. And it was a brain exercise, I guess. So Danny helped in that way without even knowing it to help Keith get better.
Yeah. So, and let's see, we have one of that's Keith and the grandson. There.
Squeezing apples.
They're like they're pressing apples. So that's you know, I mean.
And he's got a nice little homestead that he's worked on since he was sick. Yeah. He's been working on it the whole time.
Yeah.
He's built cabinets. When Danny was building cabinets, he showed us the cabinets. He's redone the whole outside of a building he had moved in there.
Right.
Chickens, goats, you name it. He's growing stuff. He's doing a lot.
Okay, so let's move on now. The winner of the dehydrator, you want to tell who that is? We did the randomizer, and the randomizer chose a individual.
And like I said, if she doesn't get in touch with us, we'll choose again, because I do have people that don't watch us continuously.
Yeah.
But Gothic Sugar, and I do know she watches us. She's been watching us probably a long time, because I know she comments off and on. So Gothic Sugar is the winner of the dehydrator, and I need her to get in touch with me before Monday night, say 7 o'clock Monday night, because I'll have to pick another winner and put it up if she doesn't get in touch with me. deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com, Gothic Sugar.
Okay, where are we at in the scheme of everything?
I think the questions that people ask, I think I've gotten over.
And I will say, I got a gift this past week from a gentleman from, was it from California? Sent us the book about the Spanish flu.
Yeah, I'm reading on it.
Ms. Wanda's reading that book right now. He sent us some CDs and some Bible tracts, or not Bible tracts, some seeds. He sent us some CDs and some seeds, and a book on the Spanish flu from 1918. Ms. Wanda's reading that right now.
It's called Pale Rider.
Pale Rider?
Is that it?
Something like that. Pale Rider, I believe. And looks like a really good book.
People have mentioned it before, and I just never had thought to go get it. And so when he sent that, I told Danny I'm going to start reading it, and I read some on it the other night, but we haven't had time to slow down, and when we do, we're tired at night, and I hadn't read anymore. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. Let's see what else we got going on. Not sure if we got anything else right now.
Let's see. I don't know if we're
If we got anything else, I'm not 100% sure, because I'm trying to keep stuff together.
We're trying to keep it all rolled out here. I'm trying to think. I don't think
there was something that I had a picture of that I was going to put the picture up. What else did I get?
Yeah, they said Pale Rider is it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. There was, I guess maybe that was it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. I don't think we've gotten anything else. We haven't been to the post office hardly any this week. I can't think of anything else.
Something I had a picture of stuff I got.
Did we get a package in the mail this past week that from Amazon that had someone's name in it? That
possibly. Yeah. I'm tired. Danny's working my butt off.
Yeah. I just didn't want to miss anybody.
Yeah, if you've sent something and we haven't acknowledged it, then I'm sorry, because some days, if it's something for the cabin, I take it straight over to the cabin.
It seemed like it was for the cabin.
And I forget.
And remember, the Amazon box was like this big, and I opened it up and I said, "What is that?" And you said, "I guess somebody saw it on our wish list on Amazon and ordered it."
Yes, and I don't know if I got. Sometimes I'll lay the card here.
It just happened to pop into my head. Maybe we've already talked about it. I don't know, but
who knows?
But anyway,
curious how y'all are doing about not going to the supermarket lately. We've never really went to the supermarket.
We never have been one. We don't even go. I mean, the only time
sometimes once a month, but now
with COVID, we've been to Walmart 3 times since January.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and Piggly Wiggly, maybe three or four times since January. So I mean, we just don't have to go. I mean, it's you don't have to go to the supermarket if you raise your own food. I mean,
Yeah.
now we do order online a few things like almond flour,
Yeah.
maybe the 25-pound bags of sugar. Uh,
I order almond milk, any of our toiletries. If I need anything like
yeah,
razors and things like that, I order that. I have a stash built up now, but I order to keep the stash going. 99% of what I order is not because we're out of something, it's because we've used some and I'm replacing what I use. I rotate. If you don't rotate, you need to be rotating.
well, I was just sitting here thinking one of the things I guess we do drop by somewhere like a Dollar General or a dollar store for is we will get a big stash of paper towels every now and then.
Yeah. Paper towels. I've got toilet paper at the yin yang. We have enough toilet paper to last a good while. Danny thinks sometimes he goes, "Do we need any more?" And I'm going, "No, we don't need any more."
I mean, I'm always asking because I mean that's her department, and I'll always ask, you
But
know.
I have toilet paper at the cabin. I have enough over there for a good long time. I have toilet paper here, and I think we're really good with toilet paper. A lot of people freak out, but I use the family cloths.
Yeah.
So they're flannel cloths that I wash. And so that saves us a lot in toilet paper. And then the paper towels, we use towels lots of times, but I do use the paper towels also at times. So I like to keep those on hand and I'll pick up some on occasion.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I see
what else would we really
Big
run?
Cat will keep your wife in our prayers. As he says she's a therapist and she has COVID-19 right now.
Yeah. My daughter that had COVID and her daughter, Faith got well pretty quick. Amy got sicker. She ended up going to the ER and they've changed her meds 2 different times. But she's on the mend. She still can't taste
Yeah,
stuff
her taste
hardly,
hadn't come back yet,
but
which that's a normal thing.
but she's better. She's getting better, and so they're on the mend. Maurice is on here. Deborah has been in the hospital. She got home, I think, today, so she could sit and watch us tonight. She told him she was coming home, but she had an infection, I think, or I think that's what he said. Um,
Oh, Drummondson Live says I don't buy the secondhand toilet paper.
no, we won't either.
No.
And let's see who else. I'm trying to think if there anybody else has mentioned.
Stacy said she just lost a cousin on the first with it.
Yeah.
And guys, I was asked a question way while ago and I kind of avoided it, and it was I going to be talking any about the Senate hearings on here tonight? And no, I'm not. Those type things are for Patreon or for Porch Time or something like that. I'm having to be very careful about what I do and how I do it because of the powers to be don't like you talking about things like that right now. And it's not that I won't talk about them. It's just that I have to be on the right platform in order for me to be able to talk about them.
And they can even pull Patreon if they want.
Oh, they can. They can pull Patreon if they wanted to.
Danny tries to be very
I try to,
diplomatic, even.
Well, it's kind of like I try to use language. It's kind of like when we go to war. They started this back when Desert Storm and when we went into Baghdad, way back yonder to do our first mission in there. They began using new terms back then. They used the word theater. We went into the theater, not talking about like a movie theater, but they was talking about the battleground. And we flew sorties. They didn't say we flew airline. We didn't say we flew missions. They said sorties, which is we sent planes in to do bombings. And we dropped batteries. They didn't say bombs. They said batteries and stuff like that. So the language today has become politically correct because we try to make war sound very nice, like we're not doing anything really bad. And I'm trying to learn to use certain languages to do the videos that I need to do with. It kind of helps from being censored so bad. So hopefully I can continue to do that and not be able to have our channels pulled or anything like that.
Lippy said to remember Nanny. She fell today, so she's going to be okay, but she must have bruised her face.
Okay.
Wanda, do you make your own bath and hand soap? No. When
we have lots of homemade soap here.
Yeah, when we first started YouTube, I thought I was going to make my own soap, and I had Brittany come over and we did a soap video, one of the first in the first couple of months that we were doing videos. And I watched her make soap and I thought, nah, I'm not really into that. And so I've never made soap. And the whole time we've been in YouTube, I've had a lot of people send me soap. So I have my own handmade soap that I don't have to make. And I really love handmade soaps. Danny likes the plain, without fragrances and stuff, just goat soap, I guess, goat milk soap.
Right.
I like fragrances. I'm really good with that. But I like homemade soaps, but I just don't like to make them.
Right. We do have enough homemade soap to last us for quite a while. When you only bathe on Saturday nights, you know, soap lasts a long time. I had to say that. You know, everybody used to talk about the Saturday night baths, and I had to throw that in.
It's Saturday night. We need
It's
a bath.
Saturday night. We got to go take a bath right now. Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Yeah, but yeah, I like the soap, but I just don't like making it.
Now, hey, Amy said she figured I was a lava guy. I do have lava soap. It's very gritty. You know, it's like you can just, my hands sometimes get so. I mean, look at my hands. Look at my hands. These are where's that? That's my hands. These hands work every day with heavy tools, heavy equipment, and stuff like that.
His hands are rough.
My hands are rough enough. I don't even need a wash rag. I could just rub my hands on my body. They're so rough. Back in the day, my daddy used to tell me that you had to be really careful if you sat next to your wife and you reached over. My daddy called them step-ins. He said you had to be careful if you touched mama's step-ins. He said because your hands would be so rough it would tear runs in them. You know, and you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, he always told me, he said, son, don't ever put your hand on the wife's step-ins. He said, because it'll make her mad. It'll leave a run in them.
And I got to say, stockings and pantyhose were never called step-ins.
Right.
When I was little, step-ins was your panties.
Yeah, but
my mama said, where's your step-ins? She was saying, go get you a fresh pair of panties and go get a bath. You know, that's what she would say. Get your step-ins and go get a bath.
Yeah. And Dad always called them, they were like knee-high. You have
knee-high stockings.
Knee-high stockings or something like that. They never wore the ones that went all the way up around the waist. They always just wore the ones that went above.
Thigh highs.
The thigh highs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My granny wore the thigh highs.
And then some of them had the clips from the garters that went down and held them from sliding down.
Actually, I had the garter, the girdle, and the clips.
Yeah.
That was my first. I had stockings. Mom wouldn't buy me pantyhose.
Right.
She bought the stockings because pantyhose were just coming. And then when my legs are about this big around when I was a teenager, and stockings and pantyhose just slid, and by the end of the day, I had wrinkles around my ankles.
Yeah.
That was the day. But y'all, I wouldn't go nowhere without pantyhose, and now I don't even know if I own a pair.
Mr. John said he was a third line in the bathtub of his house. So.
Oh no.
Now, hey, that used to. I mean, I can sit here and tell y'all some stuff. You know, I know we're out of time already because it's after 9, but you know, used to in front of the fireplace at the house, there was hooks hanging on the ceiling, and you would hook. There would be a towel system or like a quilt system you could hook around in front of the fireplace, and you put the wash tub in place, and you filled it with warm water. And one at a time, somebody would go in there and they would take a bath in front of the fireplace in the number 3 wash tub, and they would wash off right there. And, you know, you wanted to be first or second in line. You didn't want to be way down the line. But sometimes if you was a kid, you didn't have a choice, you know. And they took baths right there in front of the fireplace. And they would dry off, and all that way you didn't get cold. You didn't get sick, you know.
Well, my mom had 10 brothers and sisters. Just imagine if you were number 10.
Oh, you just got the dirt from the other ones on you.
Yeah.
What most people don't understand is when you put dirt in water, the dirt goes to the bottom. If you don't splash the water around a lot, you still got pretty clean water on you. I mean, it may have a little dirt in it, but it's not bad.
Look, hey, Sue said she used her last pair of pantyhose to tie her loofah plants
Oh, I know lots of people use them. I mean, I used to
around apples.
I've used pantyhose to hang onions in, stuff like that, you know, because the air could pass through them. You know, I mean, lots of different things.
Stacy says the only time I buy stockings is to cut them up to use for catfishing.
Yeah, you can put your blood and hook them on your hook. That way the fish don't get all your bait off.
Ellison said her great grandmother tied hers in knots around her knees.
Look, there's 1,000 different things out there that people have forgotten about. You know what I'm saying?
All it takes is one word or one little phrase to trigger something. Oh, it is fun.
Well, it's like Russell said, that's where the old phrase is, says don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because he's the last one to get a bath, and if you threw the water out, he might still be in it, you know?
Yeah, and you get a bath once a week, whether you need it or not. Yeah. Somebody was saying that. Oh.
Yeah, Cul-de-sac says, yep, pantyhose to hang onions in, yep.
Mutant said his grandfather had suspenders for his socks. The socks didn't have...
Well, usually it was homemade socks. They didn't have no elastic. They were just yarn knitted socks.
So they had to be held up in some way or they just slide down. Hence the reason stockings didn't have that either. Stockings were preformed to fit a woman's leg, and you had to have those garters to hold them up. And my legs weren't made like most women's legs. Mine were like pencils. They didn't have a cute calf and stuff in them, and that's why mine shrunk when it went down to the bottom.
Grandma so happy said the dishpan and dishwater was poured around the apple trees. My grandmother did. Well, my mom and daddy did the same thing. They poured the dishwater out in the back around the fruit trees and stuff like that. And a lot of times the dishwater was fed to the hogs. And my daddy used to always say the old soap that they used, not this modern chemical stuff we got now, but the old-timey soap that was used to wash dishes, they said would worm the hogs. So,
well, my grandmother used the dishwater for rose bushes. She put them around and make beautiful rose bushes. Something about it, it just helped with the rose bushes. Dee says, I wore pantyhose every day, even under jeans, do not have spider veins. Yeah, most people wore pantyhose a lot. And I wore them almost religiously until, I don't know, 15 years ago. And then I just kind of got out of it. And when Danny and I married, I probably had them on 3 times in 8 years.
Now Gene Shannon says what my dad used to tell me. Dad used to tell me back in the day, they would take what he calls step-ins or pantyhose, and they would put 7 dust in it or arsenic or anything like that, and they go along there and shake it. You put a little dusting on the plant as they went through the garden doing it.
Yeah, my dad did too. I remember that.
Daddy used to take his also, and he would hang them in the peach trees. He'd put fireplace ashes in them, and he said it kept the insects out of the fruit trees. And we always had great fruit, so I can't say that it didn't work. My Kentucky Home says, "Yep, ivory dish soap for worm and hogs." My dad it would do it. Yep.
Yeah, C.S. Nanny said they just threw the dishwater out the back door, just opened the door and pitched it, you know.
Yep.
Lots of people probably did, because the deal is you didn't have drains and running water and drains and all that stuff, so you had to take it and throw it somewhere, and most people were like us, they were going to make it beneficial. So they called it catching the water.
Right. Anyway, I just got off on a kick there. Back in the day, they made their own soap to wash your own clothes with, and it wasn't bad for you. So.
Yeah, and back in the day, they never wore a skirt bare-legged or a dress. You never went anywhere that you didn't have stockings on. I can remember seeing women with stockings on and thinking, They must have ripped theirs before they left the house, because that's the only reason you would go anywhere without stockings or pantyhose on.
Yeah, and he was right too. You could also use your dish soap. It's a real rich, damp ground. It would bring the worms to the top of the ground if you got ready to go fishing. You could you could go out there and pour it on the ground, drive a stick in the ground like a little 1x4 or something like that, and take another board on top of it and start rubbing it back and forth across it and vibrating the ground real bad, and the worms will crawl to the top of the surface in that wet dirt with that dish soap on it because it irritates them, and the vibration drives them out of the ground too. We got a lot of old ways that just gets lost.
Yeah. And it's fun when you start talking about things that triggers other people's memories.
Yeah.
And that's part of what this community is about. Is to trigger old thoughts of what you saw as a kid that you won't remember unless somebody actually says something or something pops up.
Richard said his dad used to dip her beagles in burnt motor oil to cure the mange. Well, my dad used to tell me, he said, son, you need to put some old burnt motor oil on them pigs out there because it'll keep the lice off of them. And I told him, I said, Dad, if I could get burnt motor oil that was made from pure petroleum like it used to be, it's fine. But all the oil they got now that comes out of car motors is synthetic. It's got all these different chemicals in it and stuff like that. I told him, I said, I'm not putting that stuff on one of my pigs. You know what I mean? I said, but now if I had the old, what they call old Quaker State, 30 weight motor oil that, re-refined oil or whatever it was.
They probably don't even have that anymore.
They probably don't even have that. I know Quaker State's still in business, but I mean, they probably don't have the old-timey oil like that anymore. It would cure the mange. It would get lice off the hogs and stuff like that, because you could take a rag with that old motor oil on it, just rub it on the old hog's back and get him all oily like that and get rid of all the lice off of them.
Yeah, and that's one thing with modern homesteading today. Everybody hears the stories like taking the motor oil and rubbing their pigs down. And they go get regular motor oil and do it, and then their pigs get sick or something happens, and they wonder why. And they say, well, the old-timey ways. They don't understand the chemicals that are used in the oil now. If you hear these old tidbits, think back whatever you hear, how it was made back then, not necessarily how it's made today, because there's two different things. Danny and his dad got in discussions all the time. His dad says, I've eaten this all my life and it won't hurt me. And he's saying, Dad, they've changed how they make it now.
Yeah.
That's why people are staying away from it. And he says, well, I don't know. I've eaten it all my life. And he said, yeah, but what you've been eating was the good stuff. What people are eating now is not. It's totally different.
Oh, let's see here.
Ooh, $7.50 a quart for 30 weight Pennzoil. What?
Yeah.
What?
I've done some work for one of the chairmen of Pennzoil Oil Company. I have a Pennzoil oil jacket here somewhere.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I have the actual Pennzoil jacket. They gave me one of their jackets when I was working for them. Mama said they used to wash the pig intestines in a creek when they killed a pig. That's true. You string the intestines out down the creek because creek water was clean back then. And it would wash any corn particles or any foreign matter or anything out of the intestines. You just string them down the creek and let them run. Let the water run through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're saying something about, let's see, if you had a pair of pantyhose and one of them got a bad run in it, you could take two pair, cut the legs off that was bad, and use both pair, one with the other. I've done that many times.
I used to watch Debbie before she passed away. She wore pantyhose all the time. If she got a run in them, she would take clear fingernail polish.
Yep.
And she would seal it, somehow or other. Now I don't know what she did, but I remember.
Stick it to your leg too.
I remember seeing her do it.
You had to pull the leg, but yeah, you kept clear fingernail polish just because.
Yeah.
Always. Let's see what else.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see.
Well, Russell says he remembers when the milkman used to bring milk in glass jars and put them in a galvanized box
on the porch.
My daddy was a milkman.
Yep.
Way on back. He worked for Gray's Milk and Ice Cream Company. And that's been out of business many years. But my dad did that for a short period of time before he, I think right after him and Mom died. Him and Mom got married. he worked for Gray's Ice Cream when I was a little bitty baby. And he said that I think that was when they were starting to put them in cartons and stuff. And so
Hey,
they were kind of
Andy,
stopping
good to see you on here, my friend.
So,
Goss Media says, my father-in-law was a milkman. Dairy Fresh. Yeah, I mean,
I remember Dairy Fresh.
Yeah.
We haven't bought milk.
We haven't bought milk in so many. I don't guess we've bought milk since we've been married.
At least 6 years.
We might have bought a little buttermilk or something.
6 years.
Yeah, it's been probably 6 years or so since we bought any milk. So
I did buy some Country Girl Creamery butter.
yeah, when we had the organic milk right down the road here from the Country Girl Creamery, we would get some butter. We get some chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk
from them. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we got to get off of here tonight. It's getting late. It's already after 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and a lot of people are, needing to go to bed. Looks like you're even needing to go to bed.
I'm getting tired. Danny's working me. Y'all wait till Monday.
Wait till Monday, because we have busted our butts the last 2 days.
Yeah. And I'm trying to video, not hour for hour, what we're doing, but the highlights of what we're doing.
I'm like a rat running around out there, and she's always like, "Did you video this?" I said, "I got to work. I ain't got time to run a video camera."
Yeah, so we kind of do what we got to do. But Monday is going to be on the project. Wednesday is going to be on the project, and probably most of the videos for the next little on our project. And y'all are going to really get a kick out of this project, I think.
I hope so. Well, it's educational. I mean, it's not going to be a big time, lots of views on it probably, but it's very educational.
None of our videos.
I don't know what. I mean, our videos don't get many views anymore anyway because people want controversy now, and I'm not.
We're not controversial.
I'm not into drama, and I'm not into controversial stuff like that. So,
you can't work and people want to watch it anymore.
Nobody wants to watch anybody
if
really
you're working, people don't want it. They want you to talk, and they want you to be controversial. If you put up something, the title is got the word. I don't even know the words. What is it? Where there's something controversial going on.
Drama, anything with drama in it.
Yeah, anything that shows drama.
This was so bad. Oh my God, this just happened. And I mean, my poor animal died, or I had to do this, or and people's got like, oh no, they've got all these weird faces and stuff. Well, we're not going to do that. No. I mean, we may occasionally have a weird one, but for the most part, guys, I'm not out here trying to lure somebody in. If you're not going to watch my videos, then just don't watch them. I mean, I'm not here to.
Yeah, that's where. If somebody says something really snarky, to say something snarky back, and I usually delete it. I try not to be ugly, but if y'all see somebody say something really weird, and I say so, hold it against me because we get so many of those comments, and sometimes it just really irks me because I did one on Crazy Days, and all I did was Danny said she's going to show y'all what she does with oranges. So the other day, everybody's doing these short videos where they're throwing these real quick videos that are just kind of stupid videos.
Yeah.
And so I was in here doing something, eating an orange. I said, look, Danny said, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with an orange. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat an orange. I had some lady tell me that this is beneath you. I can't believe that you put this up. And I'm like, okay, lighten up.
Yeah.
You got to laugh.
Life is too short, Anyway, we've got to get off of here because there's lots of people need to go, and I don't want to keep people up all night long.
Yeah, especially me.
There's one that gets cranky if she don't get enough sleep at night. Not really, she's not cranky, but.
Well, I was cranky just then because this woman just irked me up, thinking it was beneath me to be funny.
Well, you've always got people that are miserable, and they like to make other people miserable.
And they like to watch people that are miserable.
Yeah, and they like to watch people who can't never. I mean, because you watch lots of YouTube channels out there, all their animals are dying or something's going wrong with them here and there. it's all about taking care of everything. You know, I mean, an animal's gonna get sick every now and then.
Some channel, I mean, gosh, y'all, there's some channels that it seems like every week their animals are dying, they're sick, there's something
they
going
need to
on.
just quit raising animals.
And I'm like, y'all quit with the animals.
Yeah.
If you can't take care of them, then do something.
Then don't get them. You know?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all don't hold it against me. You got animals and they stay sick all the time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, ours, we had one that we got ill on us here one time, but she got into the catalytic cub. Yeah. And she ate too much, you know. I mean, and she foundered, but we went, we doctored her ourselves, and But
we don't have animals sick and dying every day or every week or whatever. I mean, some of them have them all the time. I mean, I'm like, whoa, y'all need to do something. I mean, I haven't even lost since all the chickens I've had all year long. I lost one chicken all year long. Yeah. One chicken.
Anyway.
No cows.
We're not here to rant on that. We gotta get off of here. We gotta pray and gotta get off of here. Father, we just want to come to you tonight, and Lord, we want to thank you. You've been so good to us this week. We've had a blessed week. We've had a productive week, and we want to thank you for that. We want to thank you for the help that you've granted each and every one of us. Lord, there's been a lot of comments in tonight about family members, friends, and relatives and stuff that have the COVID virus, Lord, and we're praying for those people, neighbors that has it, and all kinds of stuff. And Lord, we pray for healing for their bodies, Lord, and it's just, we know that it's running rampant. We know that it's bad, but the crazy thing about it is we ain't heard of anybody getting any pneumonia this year, except maybe one or two people, and that's it. It's like it just miraculously went away, and Lord, we know that's not the case, but we also know that we have lots of people out there that's become very ill. Pray for them, and we pray for their families. We pray for healing. Lord, our own families have suffered from this virus, and we're praying for them also, and we pray for our country, Lord. This, I don't know, I want to call it a clown show, that we can't choose an administrator. We can't have an election because of everybody's got to be like a clown right now. Nothing is really trustworthy anymore. There's fraud in everything. And we know that that's the signs of the end of an age where it says that evil will run rampant, and the love of many will wax cold, and it'll be father against son and mother against daughters, and all these things will happen, Lord. There's actually 21 things listed there in the Bible that, that'll be going on, and it looks like we're living in those times. So we pray for our nation. We pray for the leaders, and Lord, I pray for everybody that's been on our chat tonight. I want to lift them up and say, Lord, I pray that they'll be prepared for what's right down the road ahead of us, Father. I'd really love to talk about it, but I know that I can't. I'd love to be able to share with people what's fixing to happen. But Father, all I can really do is pray and ask you to take care of each and every person. And I can just say this: prepare like you've never prepared before, because the upcoming days are going to be treacherous, especially this coming year. And Father, I just blessings upon each person here tonight. And I ask that you go with every person here tonight and help us to be better people. Help us to be able to glorify and edify your kingdom. And may we be an example and a shining light in a dark world, Father. We just ask now that you just show your grace and your mercy towards each and every one of us. Grant us all, Lord, the blessings of obedience and the fruits of the Spirit. We ask these things in thy name. Amen. Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Now, I'm tired.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we got to jump off. Keep saying that. We never do it.
All right, guys.
I got my glass of water back here. I got me a glass of water here.
We're through with the cane. Go back and watch. We've got videos for the past few years. They're all in the cards. Let me quick the cards.
Yeah.
When we say cards, there's a little I. I don't know which side I'm on.
It's on the left-hand side from us, on the right-hand screen when you're looking at the video. Just hover your mouse up there.
Choked.
We'll get choked up on his water here.
I thought you was getting choked up over the cards.
No. Water went down the wrong pipe.
Just hover your mouse over the right-hand corner as you're looking at the screen, and it'll sometimes something in white and black will show up, and it'll give you the title of a video. If you hover over any time during our video, it'll give you what the cards, and most of the time they should be something pertaining to the video. Sometimes I just put a bunch of random videos in the cards. And so that gives you extra things to look at. But like with the cane syrup, if you hover over that eye, it gives you the whole playlist for cane syrup. That means everything we've done since we started YouTube on cane syrup. So that's one way to find the videos without having to go back and hunt. Or the other way is type in cane syrup or sugar cane Deep South Homestead.
Yeah, we dominate it just about. So.
Yeah, we're in the sugar cane. If you put sugar cane Deep South Homestead, you're going to find sugar cane videos.
Yeah. The icon is on our left, y'all's right. So if you just hover the mouse up in the upper right hand corner of your screen, you'll see it. It'll pop up. So, yeah. Guys, I pray each and every one of you have a blessed night, and I pray that the rest of the week will be good for you. If it's cold where you are, I hope that you have plenty of heat. And I hope that you have a very happy holiday season coming up. We're not far away from Christmas, and I pray that everybody's families can get together. A lot of places are going into lockdown, and they're not allowing families to get together. Some places we've been told, even in California, said they'd turn the power and the water off if people got together. So.
Yeah, it's getting rough, guys.
It's getting rough, guys, and there's some things coming down the pipe I'd really like to talk to y'all about, but I know I can't. So just be mindful, be aware of what's going on around you, and don't let anything surprise you, because there's things coming that I got to make sure I don't say the wrong thing, but you really wouldn't anticipate it happening, and you really couldn't believe it would happen, but it's probably going to. So.
And we're not going to be selling sugar cane because we have somebody else asking. We're not selling any.
We're out of sugar cane.
Yeah, and we're not selling the syrup.
No, we're not selling any of the syrup. We didn't make enough this year to sell any. So anyway, guys, we love